The birth of a genius, Warsaw, Poland, November 7th, 1867. Snow falls silently on the cobblestone streets of a city under siege, not by armies, but by an empire determined to erase Polish identity from existence. In a modest apartment on Fryta Street, Bronisława Skłodowska cradles her newborn daughter. This is Maria Salomea Skłodowska, the girl who would one day become Marie Curie, the woman destined to unlock the secrets of the atom itself. The Russian Empire has divided Poland. Polish culture is systematically suppressed. Speaking Polish in schools is forbidden. Teaching Polish history could mean exile to Siberia. Maria's father, Władysław Skłodowski, is a mathematics and physics teacher whose laboratory equipment was confiscated by Russian authorities. Yet in his daughter's eyes, he sees something extraordinary, an insatiable curiosity about how the world works. Young Maria sits in her father's study, mesmerized by the glass tubes and mineral specimens he's managed to hide from the authorities. "Papa, what makes the rocks different colors?" she asks. "Each rock tells a story, Maria," he whispers. "Some hold secrets we haven't discovered yet. Perhaps one day you'll be the one to unlock them." At age 6, Maria displays an unusual gift. She teaches herself to read by studying her father's physics books. The Polish alphabet, forbidden in schools, becomes her secret rebellion. 1873. The Skłodowski family faces financial ruin when a business investment fails. Books are sold, scientific instruments pawned, dreams deferred. "We are rich in knowledge, my daughter," Władysław tells Maria as creditors remove his microscope. "That wealth they cannot take from us." 1876. Tragedy strikes twice. Maria's sister Zofia dies of typhus at 14. 2 years later, her mother Bronisława succumbs to tuberculosis. Standing at her mother's deathbed, 10-year-old Maria receives a final promise to extract. "Promise me you'll use your mind," Bronisława whispers. "Promise me you'll never let anyone tell you that, because you're a woman. You cannot achieve greatness." Maria learns her first lesson about scientific observation. Even the most brilliant minds are housed in fragile flesh. The Warsaw, where Maria grows up, operates on 2 levels: Russian on the surface, Polish in its soul. Students attend underground flying university sessions where Maria excels, absorbing forbidden knowledge. At 15, Maria graduates from gymnasium as the youngest student in her class, earning a gold medal despite learning in a foreign language. But her triumph carries bitter irony. As a woman in Russian-controlled Poland, she cannot attend university. Her brilliant mind is deemed unsuitable for higher education simply because of her gender. During clandestine intellectual gatherings in the Skłodowski apartment, a family friend mentions the Sorbonne in Paris, a place where, incredibly, women can study alongside men. In her diary, Maria writes, "I dream of Paris like others dream of heaven." Financial reality makes university impossible. Maria takes a job as a governess in the remote village of Szczuki, teaching wealthy children while yearning for her own education. During long winter evenings, she studies mathematics and physics by candlelight. Her letters home reveal extraordinary determination. "I am learning independently what I should have learned in university. I will not let circumstances define my limitations." Romance complicates her plans when Kazimierz Żurawski, her employer's son, falls in love with her. His parents forbid the marriage. She's merely a governess beneath their social standing. The rejection clarifies Maria's priorities. "I understand now that I must depend on myself alone. My education, my career, my future, these I must build with my own hands." 1889, after 3 years, Maria returns to Warsaw with enough savings to help fund her sister Bronia's medical studies in Paris through a pact. Bronia studies first, then supports Maria's education. Working in her cousin's photographic laboratory, Maria discovers that silver compounds react predictably to light, her first experience with invisible forces that govern matter. She teaches arithmetic to working women, understanding that education is revolution, a way to lift communities from ignorance. 1891. A letter arrives from Paris. Bronya has completed medical school and married. Come to Paris, Maria. Your room is waiting. Your future is waiting. Maria, now 23, has survived occupation, poverty, loss, and discrimination. She has taught herself advanced mathematics and maintained impossible dreams against all odds. On a cold November morning, she boards a train bound for Paris, carrying a suitcase, her father's compass, Polish soil, and unshakable belief that knowledge can overcome any obstacle. As the train crosses into Germany, Maria watches her homeland disappear. She's leaving everything familiar, but traveling towards something greater, the chance to become the scientist she's always known herself to be. Paris, November 1891. At Gare du Nord station, among the passengers stepping onto the platform, is a young Polish woman carrying an impossible dream. She doesn't know that within a decade she will discover elements with no names, win prizes never awarded to women, and literally illuminate the darkness of human ignorance. She only knows she has finally arrived at the place where her real life can begin. The breakthroughs that shook the world. Paris, France, November 1891. The Sorbonne stands like a cathedral to learning, its stone walls echoing with centuries of academic pursuit. Maria Skłodowska climbs the steps to the Faculty of Sciences. She carries nothing but determination and a mind capable of reshaping human understanding of the universe itself. The amphitheaters are filled with young men in dark suits. Marie sits alone in the front row, the only woman in advanced physics lectures. Her French is imperfect, her background lacking prestigious preparation. But when Professor Gabriel Lippmann demonstrates electromagnetic phenomena, Marie's eyes shine with recognition. Marie's lodgings reflect harsh reality, a sixth-floor garret so cold that water freezes in the wash basin. She survives on bread, butter and tea, her weight dropping dangerously low, but her mind grows stronger. 1893. Marie graduates first in her physics degree. The following year, she places second in mathematics. Her professors notice something unusual about this quiet Polish student. She doesn't memorize formulas. She intuits underlying principles governing natural phenomena. During her search for laboratory space, destiny intervenes. Marie is introduced to Pierre Curie. Pierre, 8 years her senior, is an established physicist whose work on piezoelectricity has earned international recognition. At 35, he remains unmarried, devoted entirely to science. Their first meeting revolves around magnetism and the mysterious properties of matter. Pierre is enchanted not by Marie's beauty, but by her intellectual passion. July 26, 1895. Marie and Pierre marry in a simple ceremony. Their honeymoon is a bicycle tour through French countryside, discussing scientific theories as they pedal through wheat fields. Marie yearns for her own research project. She needs a phenomenon worthy of investigation, something that will establish her as more than Pierre's wife. 1896. Henri Becquerel makes an accidental discovery that changes everything. Studying phosphorescence in uranium salts, Becquerel finds these materials emit rays capable of penetrating solid matter. The rays appear spontaneously, requiring no external energy source. Marie decides to investigate these Becquerel rays for her doctoral thesis. Using an electrometer invented by Pierre and his brother, she begins the most important measurements of her life. Her first crucial discovery: radiation intensity depends solely on uranium quantity, not its chemical form. This suggests radiation is an atomic property, something from within atoms themselves. Marie coins the term radioactivity, but her systematic mind pushes further. She tests every known element, making thousands of measurements. Her breakthrough, thorium, is also radioactive. More intriguing, some uranium ores are more radioactive than pure uranium. The logical conclusion is startling. These ores contain unknown radioactive elements. Marie stands on the threshold of discovering new forms of matter. Pierre abandons his research to join Marie's quest. In a converted shed laboratory, Marie stirs vats of boiling pitchblende ore with an iron rod nearly as tall as herself. The work is physically brutal. The shed leaks, freezes in winter, swelters in summer. Marie processes tons of ore, her hands becoming cracked and scarred. July 1898. After months of chemical separations, Marie and Pierre announce a probable new element. Polonium, honoring Marie's homeland. December 1898. They announce a second element, radium, named for its intense radioactivity. But skeptics demand proof. Marie faces isolating pure radium from tons of pitchblende, a heroic 4-year effort processing 8 tons of ore residue. The radium glows with ethereal blue-green light. Pierre and Marie visit their laboratory at night, mesmerized by their luminous discovery. These gleamings stirred us with ever-new emotion and enchantment. Marie later writes, "Not understanding this beautiful glow represents deadly radiation, slowly destroying their bodies." 1902. Marie determines radium's atomic weight, 226. She has isolated 1/10 of a gram from tons of raw ore. 1903. Marie, Pierre, and Becquerel receive the Nobel Prize in Physics. Marie becomes the first woman Nobel laureate, though she nearly wasn't included. Pierre insisted her contributions deserved equal recognition. The prize brings fame, but unwanted attention. Reporters seek sensational stories about the lady scientist. Marie craves laboratory quiet, not public scrutiny. Pierre begins suffering severe leg pain, likely radiation exposure, though the connection isn't understood. Their research expands into medical applications, discovering radium can destroy diseased tissue. 1904. Their daughter, Irene, is born, destined to win her own Nobel Prize. The Curies attract international attention. Ernest Rutherford visits, fascinated by their radioactive elements. Together, they reveal radioactivity's nature, spontaneous atomic transformation releasing energy. April 1906. Pierre's health deteriorates. His hands shake, his walk becomes unsteady. Neither understands that radioactive materials have damaged their bodies at the cellular level. April 19th, 1906. Paris streets buzz with carriages and early automobiles. Pierre, distracted by pain and possibly radiation sickness, steps into busy Rue Dauphine without looking. A heavy military wagon strikes him down. He dies instantly. Marie's grief is overwhelming, but she channels despair into determination. The University of Paris offers Pierre's chair. She becomes the first female professor in the institution's 650-year history. The discoveries Marie and Pierre made together, polonium, radium, radioactivity itself, have opened entirely new fields of science, leading to nuclear physics, atomic energy, and medical radiation applications. From a converted shed in Paris, they unleashed forces that will reshape civilization itself. Battles, challenges, and betrayals. Paris, France, May 1906. The University of Paris amphitheatre falls silent as Marie Curie enters to deliver her first lecture as a professor. She is pale, dressed in black, bearing the weight of tragedy. Pierre has been dead for less than a month, yet here she stands, about to become the first woman to teach at the Sorbonne. Marie begins exactly where Pierre's last lecture ended. When one considers the progress made by the science of radioactivity, the symbolism is unmistakable. She will carry forward their work, no matter the cost. But Marie faces battles beyond the laboratory. The French scientific establishment struggles to accept a woman in their ranks. Colleagues who praised the Curie's joint work now whisper that Pierre was the true genius. 1907. Marie begins her most ambitious project, isolating pure metallic radium, not just its compounds. This requires temperatures exceeding 1000 degrees Celsius, while handling materials so radioactive they glow in daylight. Her laboratory remains a converted shed lacking basic amenities. Marie works without ventilation, protective equipment, or understanding of radiation's deadly effects. Her notebooks, still radioactive today, bear witness to lethal daily exposure. 1910. After 4 years of grueling work, Marie succeeds in isolating pure radium metal. The achievement settles forever any questions about her discoveries. The scientific community can no longer minimize her contributions, but personal challenges threaten to overshadow scientific triumphs. Marie begins a relationship with Paul Langevin, a brilliant physicist and Pierre's former student. Langevin is married, but separated. 1911. Marie receives her second Nobel Prize, this time in chemistry for discovering and isolating radium and polonium. She becomes the first person ever to win Nobels in 2 different sciences. But instead of celebration, the honor becomes the center of vicious controversy. The French press launches a brutal campaign fueled by xenophobia and sexism. Headlines scream about the foreign homewrecker and alien Jewish woman, though Marie is Catholic. Mobs gather outside her laboratory, chanting for deportation. Her windows are broken, her mail filled with death threats. The Swedish Academy suggests Marie shouldn't travel to Stockholm. Her response is defiant. I believe there is no connection between my scientific work and the facts of private life. She accepts her prize, becoming the only person to deliver Nobel lectures in 2 sciences. The stress devastates Marie's health. She develops kidney problems, anemia, and severe depression. For over a year, she cannot work. The woman who survived poverty and Pierre's death now faces scandal threatening her legacy. 1914, World War I erupts, and Marie sees opportunity to serve France. She realizes X-ray equipment could save lives by helping surgeons locate bullets and shrapnel in wounded soldiers. Marie develops mobile X-ray units, petites Curies, as soldiers nickname them. She personally drives these units to front lines, often under enemy fire. The work is exhausting and devastating. Marie sees modern warfare's worst horrors up close. She estimates her X-ray units help save over 1 million lives, but the cost to her health is enormous. After the war, Marie faces new challenges establishing her legacy. Younger scientists challenge her methods, arguing her techniques were crude. Some suggest luck, rather than skill, led to her discoveries. Marie responds by becoming more rigorous. She establishes the Radium Institute in Paris, becoming one of the world's leading nuclear physics centers. But she grows suspicious of collaborators, preferring to work alone. The 1920s bring recognition, but also frustration. Younger scientists with modern equipment begin surpassing her discoveries. Her shed laboratory becomes a symbol of outdated methods rather than pioneering innovation. She watches others build upon her foundation. Rutherford's atomic structure work, Bohr's quantum model, Einstein's relativity, all trace origins to radioactivity discoveries Marie and Pierre made. Marie becomes a symbol of women's potential in science, constantly asked to comment on gender equality. She prefers letting achievements speak for themselves, but cannot escape the pioneering woman scientist role. 1932. Irene and her husband Frédéric Joliot-Curie discover artificial radioactivity, creating radioactive isotopes that don't exist in nature. For Marie, this represents both triumph and loss. Her legacy continues through others' hands. Marie's final years are marked by increasing isolation and declining health. The woman who once charmed international audiences now rarely appears in public, organizing papers to ensure her legacy will be understood. Her most important battle is with her own body, ravaged by radiation exposure. Her fingertips are scarred, energy limited, resistance to disease weakened. She refuses to acknowledge the connection between her life's work and declining health. The final years and eternal legacy, San Selmo's Sanatorium, French Alps, July 4, 1934. Marie Curie lies in her hospital bed, her once strong hands too weak to hold a pen. At 66, the woman who discovered radium and polonium is dying from aplastic anemia, her bone marrow destroyed by decades of radiation exposure. The very elements she coaxed into existence have claimed her as their final victim. Her daughter Irene sits beside her, now 36 and an accomplished physicist. Both have devoted their lives to understanding invisible forces governing matter. "Promise me that you will continue the work," Marie whispers. "The secrets we've unlocked are only the beginning." Marie's mind drifts to Pierre, dead now for 28 years. She recalls their evening visits to the laboratory, mesmerized by radium's ethereal glow, not knowing this beautiful light was slowly destroying their bodies. July 4, 1934, evening. Marie draws her final breath as the sun sets over the Alps. The woman who illuminated human ignorance slips quietly into darkness. In 1995, Marie and Pierre's remains are moved to the Pantheon in Paris, their coffins lined with lead, final protection against their radioactive legacy. Marie's impact begins manifesting within years of her death. World War II sees the first military application. Atomic bombs trace their origins to fundamental radioactivity, understanding Marie and Pierre developed. But her legacy extends far beyond weapons. Nuclear medicine emerges in the 1950s, using radioactive isotopes to diagnose and treat diseases. Millions of lives are saved through procedures depending on principles Marie discovered. The Curie Institute becomes one of the world's leading cancer research centers. Radiation therapy, pioneered by Marie's observations about radium's effect on tissue, becomes standard cancer treatment. Nuclear power plants generate electricity using controlled atomic processes Marie first observed. Her discovery that atoms contain enormous energy now lights cities and powers submarines. Space exploration becomes possible through technologies derived from her research. Radioisotope generators power spacecraft traveling to outer planets, carrying Marie's legacy into interstellar space. The element curium honors both Marie and Pierre. The periodic table continues expanding along paths she first mapped. Marie's most important legacy lies in barriers she broke for women in science. When she entered the Sorbonne in 1891, women comprised less than 2% of university students in France. Today, women earn more than half of all doctoral degrees in biological sciences. The Marie Curie Fellowship Program supports thousands of researchers across Europe, enabling brilliant minds to pursue research regardless of background. In laboratories worldwide, women scientists work on problems Marie could never have imagined. They study cosmic radiation, manipulate individual atoms with magical tools, yet follow methodological approaches she pioneered. Modern medicine relies heavily on radioactive isotopes. PT scans use radioactive tracers to image brains and detect cancer. Her work saves millions of lives annually. The Curie, a measure of radioactive decay, keeps her name alive in every nuclear laboratory. Students learning about radiation encounter her legacy in their first physics equations. The Curie family's scientific dynasty continues through multiple generations. 5 family members have won Nobel Prizes, a record unlikely to be matched. In developing nations, Marie's story inspires young women facing educational barriers. From occupied Poland to modern restrictions on women's education, Marie represents proof that brilliance can emerge anywhere. Marie's advocacy for international scientific cooperation resonates in today's global research community. Climate change, pandemic response, and space exploration require collaboration across borders. Her famous quote, "Nothing in life is to be feared, it is only to be understood," has become a rallying cry for scientific education. In an era of scientific skepticism, Marie's faith in knowledge remains desperately needed. Fusion power, still experimental, promises clean energy from nuclear processes powering the sun. If successful, it will represent the culmination of the atomic age Marie initiated. As artificial intelligence and biotechnology pose new questions about intelligence and life, Marie's systematic methodology and ethical commitment to sharing knowledge provide guidance for navigating these frontiers. In laboratories, hospitals, and research centers worldwide, her legacy pulses with atomic decay's steady rhythm. Every Geiger counterclick, every nuclear medicine procedure echoes with the spirit of a Polish girl who refused to let poverty, prejudice, or tragedy prevent her from illuminating ignorance. The elements she discovered continue their atomic dance, unchanged by time. Polonium and radium atoms decay according to immutable laws, following patterns Marie first measured over a century ago. But Marie Curie's greatest discovery was not polonium or radium. Her greatest discovery was herself, a human mind capable of penetrating nature's deepest secrets, of persevering through any obstacle, of transforming curiosity into understanding and understanding into power. She showed the world that a girl from an occupied nation, armed with nothing but determination and intelligence, could unlock secrets hidden since the universe's birth. Marie Curie didn't just change science, she changed what it means to be human. She expanded human possibilities' boundaries, proving our species' greatest strength lies not in physical capabilities, but in our relentless drive to understand the cosmos we inhabit. This was another episode of Iconic Figures. Subscribe to our channel for more powerful documentaries about the minds and leaders who changed the world.